Today we're going to talk about grips for Lecküchner's langmesser. As some of you might already know, Lecküchner's manual is really long, so surely there has to be a lot of clear information about grips there. Yeah, that's not really the case. There isn't that much explicitly written about how the langmesser should be gripped, but we can still know something about it. Sometimes the grip is explicitly mentioned. We can use the many illustrations and we can try to figure out what the described techniques imply for the grip. As there is a lack of descriptions, this will contain a bit of gap filling and speculation. The type of grip you use will have an impact on your reach. The more in line with your lower arm the messer is, the longer your reach will be. However, when you are extended to your maximum reach, you will also have the least lateral strength. Lecküchner has many examples where the reach is shortened in order to get better leverage, and that is used to counter an extended position. Examples of this theme are many of the master strike applications and winding. It is also the case that Lecküchner has many examples where extension is used to counter shortening. A superior leverage only helps if you are in a bind, so leverage can be countered by avoiding or disengaging and then extending and outranging the opponent. Examples of this theme are Durchwechsel and Nachreisen. So short can counter long through leverage, but long can also counter short by avoiding and outranging. This means you will not stay in the same grip the whole time, but you will need to switch grip depending on the situation. Let's start with the hammer grip. Here the wrist is in its neutral position and the hand is closed in its neutral position. This makes for a strong and stable grip. However, as the blade ends up at nearly 90 degrees to the lower arm, your reach will be shortened. It is possible to cut this way, and there are systems that cut this way, but it does not seem to be the way Lecküchner cuts or thrusts. In the illustrations, the end point of thrusts and cuts are typically shown with the blade more in line with the lower arm. Still, the hammer grip has its place, for example in guard and in some defensive actions. The handshake grip. In a handshake grip, the back of the handle rests against the meaty part at the base of your thumb, and we go into ulnar deviation, that is, to tilt the wrist forward. This puts the blade more in line with the lower arm and thus gives us a longer reach than the hammer grip. The wrist should not be overextended. Holding a forward-weighted object and smash into the end of a joint's range of motion with force is not a good idea. Only go as far as the top of your thumb comes in line with your lower arm. You can get from a hammer grip to a handshake grip by squeezing with the bottom two fingers. While those fingers may be small and puny, they are attached to quite significant muscles in your lower arm. Squeezing the fingers like this can be used to launch the tip forward in a cut. Handles that curve forward are rare for messers, but pretty common for sabers. One of the main reasons to have a curved handle is to assist this type of finger squeeze. The handshake grip places a higher requirement on wrist and grip strength. When a material you are trying to cut through resists, It will essentially try to push your grip toward a hammer grip. If you are test cutting and you fail to maintain the handshake grip throughout the entire cut, you are effectively shortening your reach, potentially causing the blade to exit the cutting medium without cutting all the way through. This is one of the ways you can run out of sword while test cutting. Thumb on the back of the grip. It is not described in the text, but in some of the illustrations it really does look like the thumb is sometimes placed on the back of the handle. This type of grip is also used in some of the much later saber systems. Sabers meant to be held this way usually has a surface meant for the thumb to rest on. Typical messer handle with wooden slats riveted to the tang also gives you a nice flat surface for the thumb to rest on. This type of grip can be seen as a variant of the handshake grip. There are a couple of advantages with this variation. 1. The blade comes even more in line with your lower arm, which increases your reach further. 2. It gives you a bit more stability in the cut as your hand makes contact with a longer portion of the handle. I found that the extra stability can be quite helpful when test cutting, especially when using Unterhau. 3. The thumb becomes more protected as it is effectively hiding behind the crossguard. But there are also downsides. 1. When the thumb is no longer wrapping around the handle, your grip becomes weaker in the lateral direction. 2. Switching to and from this grip is trickier than switching to and from the handshake grip. The thumb grip. In a thumb grip, the messer is rotated 90 degrees in the hand and the thumb is placed on the flat of the blade. This shortens your reach, but gives you other advantages. The lower arm is now behind your outside flat, which means the direction of your strongest push is with the outside flat. The extended thumb on the flat also lengthens the contact point with the handle, which provides some extra stability. This increased pushing potential of the thumb grip is used in, for example, Zwinger and some thrusts from the bind. The rotation of the grip also puts the edges aligned with pronation and supination, that is, twisting the lower arm. This property is used in both Tristau and Zwinger. I also use a thumb grip for Wecker. This isn't something that's stated in the text or clearly shown in the images, but I can't accomplish the required movement for Wecker in any other way. There are also some unusual applications, like for example 44V, where the angle created by the thumb grip is used to thrust around a bow and parry. Transitions. As you will use more than one grip, it's a good idea to practice switching between the different grips. Once the grip changes are smooth and easy, it is of course time to make it more difficult again. Practice doing all of the grip changes while wearing gloves, as you will be wearing them when sparring. Now we've come to the end of the video, so now I would like to know what you think. For example, which grip do you use for Wecker? And what about the thumb on the back grip? Is this something you use, or do you think it's just a matter of some poorly drawn hands?